Welcome to the inaugural episode of Cuddle Time. I'm your host. I'm Alex Ansel. This podcast is recorded live in Henderson, Nevada, on the outskirts of Las Vegas. It is my bedtime. I don't know what time it is. I'm sleepy. All I know is in the last 24 hours I was in San Angelo, Texas, getting off stage from a show there. And then we took a 4-hour car trip down to San Antonio, where I slept for a couple hours there, and hopped on a plane from San Antonio to Las Vegas, and boom, now I'm here in bed, just a couple hours later. So, let's see. So, it's after midnight, so early Thursday morning, Wednesday night, and I'm feeling my eyelids droop pretty hard, and had the recording equipment right here in the bed, and figured, let's try it out. Let's get it going. Let's see where this leads us. I think the purpose of this podcast is just to kind of record my thoughts and the day's events, and maybe think about some of the things I got coming up in the future, whether it be comedy, life, or anything in general. Just something where I can amuse myself with my own musings and whatnot. Yeah. So it feels weird just to be talking off into a microphone, thinking about who's going to listen to this, and hopefully some people will listen to this, but I think it's just going to be a cool concept and see where this show leads me. So I think there will be regular episodes. We might do nap episodes where I do some rantings and ravings or some mumblings into a microphone before I take a nap, before my brain just totally shuts down, especially on this heat. Ugh. And then we might have video episodes, and wow, there's going to be episodes where I'll probably be coming back from hanging out all night with other comics, or drinking and boozing and all kinds of illegal activities, and then of course, what am I going to do? Get in front of a recording device and have a record of it all so I can listen to it the next day and cringe before uploading it for the world to hear. Who knows, there might be episodes where there's guests, and I think those are the episodes that I'm looking forward to the most, because that means they're in my bed and they're ready for cuddle time. So, Cuddle Time with Alex. Let's do it. What a week. I just got back from Texas. I did 7 shows in 7 days. We did. And when I say we, I mean my buddies Anthony Chavadia, who featured for us, and John Tuttle, the young stunner. Just did an amazing job the whole week. Every show was better and better and better. And as far as their performances go, and every experience was unique. And we had a lot of fun hanging out for sure. And it's fun to live and go on adventures and do real comic shit, rather than, oh hey, we're doing a show here, a couple days later, oh, show there. It was fun to hit the road, eat bad food, stay in not so questionable hotels, everything in between, and just get into all kinds of hijinks. So yeah, where did we start? So Wednesday, a week ago, I flew in from Vegas to San Antonio. The boys picked me up, smiles were all around. We started goofing off right away because we knew we had a 5-hour road trip down south to the Rio Grande Valley. Went down to McAllen, Texas. The venue was the Cine El Rey. It's a gorgeous theater. It's been around for over 100 years. And I've realized I've come to the same theater for about 9 years now. And it's gorgeous. The whole city is so vibrant. It's really come alive over the time that I've been coming there. And my name was on the marquee, and they had my regular name. They had Alex Ansel instead of Kool-Aid. And it's such a fun thing to see every time you go down to the valley, to McAllen, to the Cine El Rey Theater, seeing your name on the marquee, because it really legitimizes you. It makes you feel good for all the blood, sweat, and tears you've been putting in and telling jokes and all the sacrifices that a lot of friendships sacrificed. But some of it feels worth it when you see Brainchild, human comedian Alex Ansel on a marquee in downtown McAllen, Texas. So a lot of great familiar faces. Bert, of course, co-owner, and of course Shooter, who's the bartender, and just an amazing wrestler. If you know what Shooter looks like, he looks like the guy from Mr. In Between, which is a show that takes place in Australia, and I think it's on FXX. Not to be confused with XNXX. That's a completely separate thing. Excuse me. Checked into the hotel, shit, shower and shave, get the cobwebs out, get on, because I was in a damn plane for 2.5 hours, run, go and get your baggage, and go stick myself in a car, run, there you go. Speaking of airports, so last time I was in town, I get recognized right on the curb. waiting for a ride. Young gentleman saw me and he goes, "Oh my God." He's like, "Hey, Kool-Aid, what's up? Hey, what are you doing in town?" Da, 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 da. I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, buddy?" Well, I was doing some shows, blah, blah, blah. So that was in April. This time, I didn't even make it to the curb before getting recognized. I got recognized right in baggage claim. And so that's the new record, and makes me feel good. It's one of those like byproducts of doing comedy or doing something like that puts you in the spotlight. And I don't do comedy for fame. I do it because I love this shit. I love getting on stage and talking and not talking, but joking around and having people react in a positive manner to just the thoughts and stuff that comes out of this big dumb head. So on the way down the valley, we do stop off and I can get some food already that you can't get out here in Vegas or in Henderson. So we got some Bill Miller barbecue. Now, if you grew up in South Texas, you're thinking Bill Miller barbecue. It's the McDonald's of barbecue. Why would you go there? Well, why do you go to McDonald's? It's convenient, and sometimes you do crave it. So that's why I went to Bill Miller. And I got some chicken, and it was delicious. Got some gravy to go with it, and then all the fixings to go with it, all the pickles and onions, and sweet tea, baby. So show number 1, Wednesday, McAllen, Sonora Theater. It was packed. It was the most people I've seen in that theater in a long time, because usually, when I lived in Texas and up until recently, I've been probably going to the Sonora Theater, easy 3 times a year. Before I moved away. And I believe this was my 3rd time this year, because I went once in January with WCW wrestler Raven. I think one more time in April when I did some more shows when I came back for some spots, and then again here in August. And it was the most packed I'd seen it for just me. And the door guy was telling me, David, by the way, awesome dude, he was telling me, yeah, they're all here for you. They've seen you before and they want to come back and see you. And to see a crowd that size of, on a Wednesday night especially, and it's before the school year starts, it just kind of took me back. And a lot of people had seen me before, but just throughout the years, and a lot of them hadn't seen me since I've been back, or since I moved to Vegas, and so I felt obliged to kind of do a lot of newer stuff. And I was able to try out some of the new equipment that I got. So I got a new camcorder, this recorder that I'm using right now, the audio recorder, and able to record really good set, and had a really good time. The boys did great. Even the local guys that did the guest spots were fantastic. I want to say Adrian Garcia, that kid is getting so good. I mean, every time I see him, he's great. Tim Looper, super funny cat too. And so yeah, we wrap up the show. I'm selling my stickers and taking photos and just having a blast, and so much fun. McAllen just has this cool vibe that I just wish I could soak it up and take it with me. It just feels authentic, and everyone's nice, and the women down there are so gorgeous. Oh my goodness, I don't know what they put in the water down there, but man, you hurt your neck staring at all the gorgeous women you see down there. Yeah, so that was show 1, day 1. Day 2, we wake up at the hotel. We're in Harlingen, Texas, and we stayed in McAllen. Harlingen was about 45 minutes away. Get the hotel breakfast. Do the show. Harlingen was okay. The turnout wasn't what we really wanted. It was a bar show, and, it was enough to kind of, look, it filled a date on the calendar. Shout out to Mario, of course, for hooking it up. While down there in the valley, we got to hang out a little bit with superstar Mario Salazar, and of course the king of Texas comedy himself, Raymond Norton. So if you don't know these names, look them up. They're awesome dudes, and they're super funny. So Harlingen was okay. If I had to take anything away from Harlingen, is we rolled up there. The waiter ignored the shit out of me, and here's the thing. Okay, I'm fat as fuck. Y'all know this. If you're a waiter and I feel like if you're not serving me, it's because you're looking out for me. You're like, you should not be eating this, or I did something and you fucking hate me. So I couldn't tell why the guy would not just come up to me. The guy we worked with, Sean Miller, he ordered some nachos and it was massive, so he just scraped some of his food and gave us some. But I think after that we did Whataburger. So I think that was one. Yeah. Oh man, we had Whataburger too after the number 42 in McAllen. So yeah, Harlingen was okay. So I made some good connections with fans, or made some new fans, I should say. But right when we pulled up there, they had this big ass poster with my face on it, and Anthony's face, and John Tuttle's face, and then the boys were hanging outside smoking, and I turned around right next to the pillar right before you walk in. There's a big old pile of puke, and I just went, yeah, this is awesome. That's great to see outside of a venue right before you perform at. And I even took a picture of it, put it on my Instagram story, and somebody commented, yeah, Vegas. And I go, it's not. but, it happens. So, since the show was we thought it'd be a good idea to get White Clawed out. So White Claws are these new hard seltzer drinks that come in different flavors, and it's basically if you have a blood orange fart into some club soda with vodka you can't taste, and it's a real easy drink to go down. So we went to HEB Plus, and I miss shopping at HEB. Oh my god, I tell you that. So we get in there, and they had all kinds of hard seltzers. So we get just giant packs of variety packs of. So we get some White Claw, of course, and some bigger cans to kind of go with it. We get some Henry's, which makes like hard soda, and pre-makes malt liquor soda things. But we got the hard seltzer ones. They had a blueberry lemon that was really good out of that one, but the rest were trash. And then we got some Trulies, and those were okay too. But really, a White Claw is the way to go when it comes to those hard seltzers. And so there are the three of us in the hotel room, just getting tea-rashed off of White Claws. And we stayed up so late that we went to breakfast in the hotel the next morning. Ate there, and then kind of had a rush out of went back to sleep after early breakfast, and just with an absolute horrendous hangover, Tuttle had to take charge and make sure that Anthony and I woke up on time and showered and shaved and got out of there. We hung out with a comic from the Valley, but performs all over the world. Mr. Jacob James Garcia was super gracious and super hospitable to have us over to his parents' house, where they had a pool. His mom fed us. It was so good. I wish we could enjoy the food more because we were just so hungover. On the way over, we drank Pedialyte and I chugged some water. That helped me feel better. The food helped, and bless his mom, Linda. She made homemade tortillas, flour, of course, or tortillas are trash, and the food was delicious. I wish I could eat more. Like I said, just had to deal with all that hangover, nausea, and whatnot, and just kept drinking more water, and I got to swim around in the pool, and I went shirtless because, whatever. We're just brown out. Who cares? Let the tits hang. I ended up getting pretty sunburnt. It's a nice little red coating on me. So, yeah. And hung out there, and then eventually he went with Tuttle to his cousin who runs a raspa shop, so like shaved ice, and brought us back some shaved ice and had that. And then we had to mosey on to Corpus and drive about 2.5 hours from the Rio Grande Valley to Corpus, and had to go through a border checkpoint. We were fine, nothing with us. We get to Corpus, we're on the outer skirts of it, and we already hate it. Because I was really apprehensive about Corpus. I didn't know if people were going to be there. I hadn't been to Corpus in over 3 years. I was supposed to go pretty recently, but the show's been canceled just from lack of ticket sales. I was supposed to go there with 2 different wrestlers at that point, at 2 different points in time, and I just misperformed Corpus. Corpus was the first road gig I ever had when I first started comedy 10 years ago, and so I was really apprehensive. We get to inside the city limits, and there's real bad construction, and the street conditions suck, and the layout is terrible. We're almost getting lost, and we're like, I could see where we have to go, but it was difficult to get to where we had to go. So finally we make it there with minutes to spare. We go upstairs to the venue, the Mesquite Street Comedy Club, which is above the Mesquite Street Pizza, which is legit as fuck too. So definitely check that out if you're in Corpus. We get upstairs, open that back door, see the owner who's tearing tickets literally, and we look inside and it is packed, and I'm just like, hell yeah. And the batteries are charged, so sure, I was sunburnt, sure, I was kind of recovering from a hangover, and but at that point I was like, no, we gotta turn this shit on, let's do it. So I actually changed in the sound room. I threw on some pants in the sound room, grabbed the new equipment, put up the camera, had them take the voice recorder, and it was just a pure show of John Tuttle hosting, doing 15 minutes, Anthony Chavarria featuring, doing 25, and then me headlining, and that was probably the best show all week. It was amazing. The crowd just was electric. They just, I could have stayed up there forever. That's how fun and good that show was. I definitely want to thank Brandon and Ashley and that entire crew out there at the Mesquite Street Comedy Club for running a tight ship and providing a great venue. And had a blast. The crowd was amazing. Made some really good money after the show from selling my stickers and getting donations for autographs. And I'm happy to say I kind of hit it off with a very cute teacher that was in the audience, and she made it for a fun show. And I'm smiling so hard just thinking about it because here's the one show I was kind of dreading and ended up being definitely the best one of the week. So, and who knows, maybe in future episodes you'll find out more what happened at that specific show with, other people. So, I was kind of flirting with this super gorgeous chick who had this amazing, just enigmatic, powerful smile and presence and energy. And I was talking about how I got the nickname Kool-Aid and about I got it from kids because kids are jerks. And, if you laughed at that, then you're probably a parent or a teacher. And she clapped really hard at teacher. And I just looked at her. I was like, oh, you're a teacher? Oh, you're a dream killer? Okay, well, guess what? You're in my classroom. And then I got a better look at her. And I was like, damn, that's a hot teacher, too. Ooh. And throughout the show, I kept flirting with her and getting back to her, and it was really fun. We got to chat ever so slightly after the show, just a little bit, which was a good sign because I saw her hanging out. I was like, okay, all right, she's hanging out, she's staying off to the side while I schmooze with the rest of the crowd and sell my merch and stuff. And I don't know what came over me. I just felt real bold and powerful. I took one of the 4x6 photos that I signed for people, and on the back just wrote my phone number and started talking to her, and I could tell she was super nervous, and I called her out for being nervous because I was the one that was actually nervous. I think we both were, and got to see that amazing radiant smile up close, and gave her the photo with my phone number on the back, signature on the front, gave her a couple stickers, and like I said, I was feeling real bold. So after the show, we're packing up, changed back into sweat so I could drive from Corpus Christi to San Antonio, about a 2.5 hour drive, and get settled, get the check for the show, and it was amazing. And so right before I get into a car, I look at my phone and boom, I get a text message from the teacher. And I was like, awesome. Heck yeah. Get to San Antonio late that night. Shout out to my buddy Murphy and his wife Stasha. They're two awesome, amazing people. Thank you for always having a guest room for me to be able to crash in. Yeah, they're amazing people. Murph is my old roommate. We met when he was working at the LOL Comedy Club. He was a bartender and I was a lowly comic working on his way up. And Murph has seen me go from open micer to opener to feature and now headliner. Now that's the Sunday show. We'll get to that later. Late Friday night, get to Corpus. Yeah, or get to San Antonio, I should say. Crash out for a couple hours. I was texting the teacher back and forth on the way there. And yeah, so get to San Antonio, get to Murph's, go to bed. Didn't even get to bed because the wife, Stasha, she's amazing. She's a hairdresser, cute as can be, gorgeous tattoos all over her body. She was enjoying herself. She was unwinding, we'll say. Had a couple drinks, and I was just ready to kind of get home or get to the house and use the restroom. And then talked with Stasha for a bit, and she confided in me that she really liked one comic in particular that I worked with, Mr. Shane Smith. And I said, fine, I won't tell anybody. That's fine. And sorry, Stasha. Yeah, so Saturday morning hits. What do we do Saturday? Murph sends me a message at 11 of like, hey, get up, fuck stick. And I was like, all right. So I get down, and they have these two gorgeous, runway model looking, ready advertising campaign children that are just blonde hair and blue eyed and just as gorgeous and as adorable can be. One's 4 and the other's not. I don't know, a year and a half. I don't keep track. I just go, oh, there's that one and the little one. Okay, the one that talks, the one that can't. All right. So, what did we do that day? I know we went somewhere. Well, yeah, we got Mars Pizza, which is, shout out to Mars Pizza. I used to teach defensive driving out of there. It's MAARS, so if you're in San Antonio, near the area, you want the best pizza in San Antonio, you go to Mars Pizza, damn it. So, heck yeah, I used to teach defensive driving out of there, used to do shows out of there, and just used to have the best food when it came to pizzas and all that kind of stuff, and pasta. And it felt real good to be able to, make enough money to where I could pick up the tab this time, because a couple times I've visited and crashed with Murph and Stasha. I've just the money wasn't what it was supposed to be, and they were kind of help me out, and part of me already felt kind of real bummy. I'm like, thanks for letting me crash here, and then they would pay for my food, and I'm like, oh, this is awkward, but I feel really good to be in a position to where I'm like, no, I got this one. And I got to watch a toddler just destroy half a serving of lasagna by smearing it all over her face and body. And children, I tell ya. And yeah, what did I have? I had a personal pizza with my 4 favorite pizza toppings, by the way. And that's ham and pineapple. Yes, pineapple belongs on a pizza with jalapeno and bacon. So if you ever want to know what Alex Kool-Aid Ansel gets on his pizza, it is ham, pineapple, bacon, jalapeno. That's how you make him happy. Yeah, that's right. So, leave the pizza place, get back. Then we do Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake is a small, not even resort town, but, you know, it's near a lake. It's in between San Antonio, kind of New Braunfels, and there's 2 types of people that live in Canyon Lake. There's rich people that retire there, they have property, and they have, you know, a beautiful house in the hills with a scenic view, and then some of the local you know, gutter trashy-esque type of people, and so there's a good mishmash of that, and yeah, we had it at Goofy's, which is a great name, and they have like this back separate warehouse, which it looks like, you know, if they didn't have comedy or music in it, it looks like you could just, you know, have a grow room in there and actually make money with that building instead of having me. I'm sure they took a loss with the night I was there, which sucks, but hopefully when I come back, we'll pack that place out, and but yeah, it was still fun. It was a more intimate affair. I kept wondering if I should use the mic or not, because, you know, I feel like we're just using too much power as it is anyway. And I had a visit from another blast from the past, and a lady named Charmaine, who I used to work with at Circuit City. And I started working at Circuit City right around I started doing comedy, so it was about a month in between the two. And Charmaine ran the Verizon kiosk. I was inside the Circuit City I worked at, and she had a bunch of kids. And when her significant other would come by with the children, before her shift was over, they'd come hang out in the home theater department where I worked in, and they would watch the different movies that we had on the screens there. And I'd always joke that I was like, oh look, no, now we're now we're at daycare. But this lady was so kind. She brought me an entire tray of lumpia, which are Filipino egg rolls, and they were amazing. Oh my goodness. I was lucky enough I got to share some with the host at the time with Murph. So when I brought some back to the house in San Antonio. So like I said, the show, I kind of sat down for a lot of that show because it felt like a real acoustic set, like a sit down, get to know you, look at everybody, storytelling set, and that was still fun. It was a different pace. I wasn't going as rapid fire as I usually do. Not like the night before in Corpus. I mean, that night I was all over the place, just being my goofy self and just bouncing off the walls, just keeping that energy up. And then Saturday was more. I want to say Friday, I was probably channeling Robin Williams a bit as far as the frenetic energy. And then Saturday was more Ron White, kind of, all right, let's do these jokes and do some funny asides. And I was doing material I hadn't done in a long time, and, you know, kind of slowing down the pace. And I had its own fun with it. Shout outs to Teresa, the manager out there, who took care of us and got a couple drinks with us that night. I had some Lone Stars, which is, I mean, if you're in Texas, it's a shitty beer, but if you're outside of Texas and you haven't had it in a while, you miss it. And so I had some Lone Stars and some Shiners and some Rebecca, or no, I forgot what it was, but it was like a Texas whiskey. And yeah, I had that, took the lumpia home, made some new friends there too. And then, yeah, Sunday morning, I woken up again. And what did we do Sunday? Sunday we went out for errands again. It was myself, Murph, the 2 gorgeous ladies, and this was the show day of in San Antonio at the LOL Comedy Club. You know, one of the early clubs I started out, and yeah, it was a fun night. So we went and got some real ass Mexican food. I got some barbacoa and Big Red, which is a San Antonio delicacy. So it's the face of the cow. It's a real greasy shredded meat, and you're supposed to eat it with like lime, cilantro, onions, and salt. And then I had some carne guisada, which is like a thick meat gravy with like chunks of beef tips, and had cheese in that taco. And oh my goodness. Oh, it was so delicious. Murph and the ladies and I were there, and we got to watch the little one, who will absolutely eat anything you put in front of her. She takes a chip and dips it in the red salsa, which was the hottest one, and we're like, ooh, I kind of had this like, oh no, and, you know, Murph, the dad, just went, no, let her figure it out, you know, let her try it. And so she sticks the chip in and starts licking it, and then has a kind of eyes pop back a little bit and head jerks a little bit, and then just starts sticking her tongue out. real big, and I got some really good, cute photos of it. And then she sticks her chip. So, yeah, a toddler double dipped. Gross. We're going to have a talk about her when she gets older. And gets a bunch of salsa on the chip and then sticks it back in her mouth, and she did not like that and started crying. And at this point, Dad and the baby's sister were in the restroom, so I had to think on my feet and go, crap, what do I do? So I just grabbed an ice cube from my drink and just put it in the baby's mouth, and I was able to kind of calm her down a bit. But she was able just to hit some of those high notes from those little pipes she has. God, that baby can scream. Oh, goodness. So after we get the real ass Mexican food, I'm glad I only ordered the 2 tacos because they were massive. I went to an H-E-B and do some grocery shopping. They picked up some groceries. I picked up some beer, some new shiners of some different flavors they had. They had an IPA. That was the Wicked Juicy IPA. That was delicious. And then this other one that was, what did it have? It was like coconut and something else. Coconut pineapple. It was okay. I don't know if I could drink a bunch of it, but so I'm really digging all these new different beer shiners experimenting with. So. Oh, man. So, San Antonio, Sunday night, super fun show. See a lot of familiar faces. And it's really the most difficult part about performing in a place where you know a lot of people is you want to make sure that everyone that comes out there gets, I'm gonna make sure I give them all my personal attention and thank them, for coming out. And because it really means a lot to me for people that have seen me a bunch of times that keep coming out supporting me. It blows me away every time. And it's such a weird concept that I'm like, oh, wow, you okay? Thank you so much. Let's give you the new stuff. Let's, and then do some classics too and whatnot. And that show was fun. Mike Suarez got to join us, the ace homie. It's fun. It's so cool to think how Mike and I started out around the same time in San Antonio, and he's doing phenomenal. He's now in New York. I would say more than part-time. He's spending most of his time in New York, and he's working on different podcasts and just working in these great venues. And it's like, I'm out here in Vegas doing my thing. It's so cool. We're 2 centrally located dudes in San Antonio. He went east, I went west, and hopefully we can build up a bunch of favors where we can help each other out, where if he comes out west and start doing some rooms out here, then it'd be cool. And how we do a Texas takeover. So that show was a lot of fun. The new owners are taking good care of the place, and they took care of me, had a couple drinks, and had some Southwest egg rolls, which any place that's going to have Southwest egg rolls, I'm not going to pass up. So TGI Fridays or Chili's or whatever friggin' place has them, I'm a sucker for Southwest egg rolls for sure. So yeah, that was Sunday night. The show went great. Pay was amazing. More on that later. And then I got dropped off at my buddy Derek's house, old roommate. We watched SummerSlam. Got to see some old friends, and they pulled a fast one on me. They gave me a beautiful gift that I don't want to talk about right now because it makes me cry every time. But they gave me a beautiful, poignant gift that was really touched my heart. So I got to hang out with my old cat, Bo. Bobers, named after Bo Leave. Bo Dallas is a professional wrestler. Look him up. He's like a gimmicky joke character, but he's Derek and I's favorite wrestler, and that's why we named our cat Bo. And Bo's in good hands, so happy about that. Monday morning, get woken up to the smell of bacon. Sasha cooked this amazing meal. I had to put on Instagram because it was gorgeous. It was French toast, cheese, eggs, bacon, and coffee. Oh my goodness. And that morning I got to do some laundry, charge all my devices, and then got picked up later to go to Big Lake. Man, what a show. Oh man, was Big Lake a cluster F. So we're performing basically outside on a patio that's attached to a bar that's attached to a laundromat, and it's all underneath this giant canopy of like a stockyard auction thing. That's a good description. And there were some interesting characters. Shauna, the owner, was fantastic. The bartenders were super cute. They both had the same style going. They both had their hair parted the same way. They both were wearing tube tops. And so it's an oil field town, and so it's a real sausage fest. And the place only had beer, which was fine. And Shauna told us that all the beers were covered with her. And so I got to try some more different shiners and make some new friends. And Big Lake, I will have you know this, that in my entire, 10-year professional comedy career, was the first time time I ever performed in shorts. And while I was also in shorts, I also wore a sleeveless shirt. Part of it was like, who are these people going to tell? And then 2, laziness. And 3, maybe it's something about how, kind of tailoring it for the audience. And that show was work. That was the show where, I felt like when I did, my headlining length set, I looked over to the timekeeper and he's like, yeah, no, you got like another 10 minutes to go. And I just went, shit. And, just had to dust off some older stuff or stuff that I hadn't done that night. And so I just kind of reached back and did that. And then right at that time, these good old boys came on through and they had bottles of liquor. And the dude just shoved a bottle of Jim Beam in my face. So I had a couple good pulls from that bottle. And then by the end of the set, I was starting to feel that. And it was awesome. I really like Big Lake after all. I like the fact that I could have a cigarette while I was taking a shit in the restroom. I was like, I can't even do this at home. And so, yeah. And we were performing with our backs to the road where you just see Mack truck driving by. And if a Mack truck got too loud while driving back, I would turn around and yell at him, like, keep it down. We're trying to tell jokes up here. But at the beginning of the set, I totally went, yeah, if my set doesn't go well, I can at least walk into traffic and, take care of it that way. But, yeah, Big Lake was definitely a trip. It definitely turned out better than I thought it would. We were joined by Chris Crawford, retired Air Force guy who does comedy. He's local to that area. And it was fun to watch him perform because I haven't seen him in over a year. I gave him some pointers. And, then day 7, San Angelo. Ugh, we were in this shit motel. This motel is going to be in my nightmares. And what did we do all day? We went to a video game store that was ran by Matt Lucetto, who does comedy as well. Got to hang out with Jeremy Montez, who we just saw recently in in Vegas, who wants to move out to Vegas, and did the show. It was, again, small, intimate affair. It was a Tuesday night. What do you want? And but it was cool seeing some people and some folks that I haven't seen in a while. And I made fun because they had 2 signs on the side of the road advertising the show. One said comedy, Kool-Aid, and then there's another one advertising the Chinese restaurant. It was called Buffet King. But I made the easy joke of, look, there's 2 signs advertising me. Comedy with Kool-Aid and Buffet King. Oh well, I think I'm starting to fade. Hold on, this is a lot to listen to before someone falls asleep. Has it been that funny? No. Has it been informative? Should you have listened to it so far? Who knows? Oh, we're 40 minutes in. Goodness. Well, let's see what else I gotta worry about here. So yeah, that was my whole Texas trip. Highlights, Corpus, meeting that teacher for sure. Whataburger, finding out my tolerance for White Claws, hanging out with great friends, people like Raymond Orta, Mario, Jacob James Garcia, of course Murphy, and Stasha, and seeing a bunch of badass people in San Antonio, making new fans, meeting new people, getting new fans by stopping the show, telling everyone to pull out their phone and add me and follow me on Facebook. That was a fun thing to do. And yeah, I am exhausted. So when I got home today, my roommate / comic buddy Adam Dominguez picked me up, went and got some Chicken Shack, and as soon as I got home, I got into bed and haven't left since, other than go pee and get bottles full of water. And here I am after midnight talking to a microphone, getting ready to go to sleep. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to, just enjoy this fan. I can't wait for the weather to get colder. It is so damn hot during the day. And, yeah. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of Cuddle Time. Me, I'm still in bed. I don't even have a blanket because it's too hot for that. There's a sheet somewhere around here. There's still clean laundry on my bed, and an Amazon box in one corner of it that has all the other boxes from the equipment I got earlier. I'll probably have to clean my room here tomorrow or just declutter. And, well, yeah, let's see how this goes. Let's see how this sounds. Let's throw some music on it. And there we go. Episode 1, Cuddle Time. Drift off to sleep. Wake up fully rested. I've been your host, comedian Alex Ansel. Good night.